as of a couple hours ago, Adam Schefter reported the Miami Dolphins are trading a 2021 seventh round pick for Isaiah Wilson and a 2022 seventh round pick. This saves the Titans about $3 million in 2022 and 2023. Now, to summarize Isaiah Wilson's first and only year with the Tennessee Titans, he was drafted 29th overall, got caught partying during COVID, got put on the NFL's COVID list, got a DUI while doing donuts in Nashville, got sit down on his first ever NFL snap, got put on the non-football injury list, and only suited up for about 3 games the entire year. During the offseason, he tweeted out that he was done with the Titans, so I guess he got his wish. And as far as I can tell, has been in Miami doing some type of record label music, whatever he's got to do. Now, I got nothing against Isaiah Wilson as a person. I assume he's a nice guy, and I hope he's happy, healthy, and safe. But he was absolutely a bad thing for the Titans, and there was nothing that anybody could do about it. And so it was smart of John Robinson to realize this mistake, and it was a huge mistake. It was at least smart of him to get rid of it as soon as possible. And in the grand scheme of things, like, just losing a first round pick isn't that big of a deal. But it definitely is a big missed opportunity, especially when you look at some of the players that could have been picked at 29. I mean, there was still probably 200 players that literally would have been better than Isaiah Wilson at pick 29. Now, as far as the Miami perspective, I don't know why Miami would trade for Isaiah Wilson. I guess they think that maybe a fresh place will do him some good. Maybe he'll decide magically that he loves football more than he loves not football or anything but football. So good luck to Miami for that. Now, it's fair to say that this last offseason was a complete whiff for John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. The absolutely zero production that they got from Jadeveon Clowney, Vic Beasley, and Isaiah Wilson really kind of just ruined the team's legitimate chances, in my opinion, of being a Super Bowl contending team like I think they should have been in 2020. Now, I feel like John Robinson's one flaw as a general manager ever since he came to Tennessee is finding someone to rush the passer. His best pass rusher that he's drafted or signed by far has been Harold Landry, and Harold Landry hasn't even been that amazing. Like, he's been good and he's shown flashes of being really, really good, but he hasn't quite rounded that corner, and he really needs help on the other side of him. Like, even when Harold Landry had even somewhere like this, like when Cameron Wake was playing all right for a little bit, Harold Landry was playing really good. You know what I mean? Like, when Jadeveon Clowney was healthy, Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons were playing good. But once you took like Jadeveon Clowney out, or once Cameron Wake got hurt, Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry's production just went way down because they just didn't have another guy. Like, they just didn't have a second or a third guy that could even get after the quarterback a little bit. Like, Wyatt Ray was the Titans' best pass rusher, basically the playoffs, for the entirety of the playoffs. Now, that's not saying they can't turn it around. I think this year, if they sign a competent pass rusher that can give them like 10 sacks a year, then the defense is just a little bit improved. Like, they'll probably be right back in the position they were last year, contending for the AFC South and trying to win the division. But that is all going to depend on who they decide to bring in and if it works out. Uh, to end this all off, Isaiah Wilson, biggest draft bust in NFL history. I'd be hard pressed to try to find somebody, a first round pick at that had this little production for the team that drafted him. And John Robinson and Mike Vrabel really need to not mess up the pass rush this offseason, or else they're going to be in big trouble. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later.